we are comparing engineering and science. And in this case, we want to make some few definitions that science involves investigation, understanding, and discovery of nature, its composition, and its behavior. So the guy is like Isaac Newton, and I think I have often given that as an example. The likes of Isaac Newton, who discovered that there was a tree. Then this guy sat down here at the base of the tree. I think he had sat there down, was reading his books, and then as he was reading, an apple fell from here and it fell on his head. And then he asked himself, why didn't this apple go horizontal, go diagonally, or go upwards? That is a question that Isaac Newton asked himself. And therefore, what we say is that what scientists do is that they try to ask themselves, what happens? Why do we have? They normally ask themselves why or how things happen. So they will ask themselves why apple falls from the tree, how lightning is produced, how lightning meets the ground and causes some thunderstorms. And then they ask themselves, why do we have crowds? Those kinds of questions of why things happen the way they happen, that is the work of a science. And what we normally say about scientists is that they normally build experiments, they build tools or devices with the sole purpose of learning. And that is the key that you must get, you must observe here. That the objective of them building is to learn more, to understand more, to discover more, to investigate different circumstances, compositions of things and behavior, etc. So they normally are trying to understand. The biggest question is why. Sometimes they also learn how, and I think I have said, but engineering, on the other hand, they build or design systems or they study so that they can manipulate. They can manipulate the forces of nature to advance humanity. So I think probably I should remove the how here, because the key item that scientists deal with is the why, and therefore, on the other hand, engineers ask themselves, how can we change? The key word here is to change. How can we change the forces of nature to make systems work better for the humanity? So you are going to be to be saying, like the guy we talk about straightforwardly under the category of engineering is the guy called Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday observed that when you bring a magnet near this compass, when you hold a compass, naturally it will point towards the north of the earth. So on the other hand, what he observed is that if you bring a magnet now towards this compass, it will be deflected away. So what happened with this gentleman called Michael Faraday is that he figured out that also that if you have a wire carrying conductor, that is the other thing that happened. You have some batteries and you form a closed loop, and then you bring a compass near this. What happens is that it also gets deflected, depending on some rules we are going to be learning later. So what happens is that when he did this observation as a scientist in the first place, he asked himself, how can we make a system that then generates electricity if the batteries are generating a diffraction? Is it possible? That is the question that he asked himself. Is it possible to generate electricity just the way this battery generates some diffraction or some magnetic fields? Therefore, he said that if the batteries can generate a magnetic field, then is it possible to generate electricity from magnetic fields? And therefore, he made some system that generates electricity, and he came up with a generator of electricity. And therefore, he made some rules that navigate around these concepts I have highlighted. And therefore, the generator of electricity, he made a system. He built a system that generates electricity from the concept that scientists had observed. Therefore, that is why we say that he was an engineer, because he manipulated the natural forces that happens to make something better. And therefore, the kind of power systems that you have today that lights your house, that you use to power your laptops, power your devices. It comes from a generator that generates electricity from magnetic forces that we are going to be running at a later stage. And therefore, that is what engineers do. They manipulate forces of nature. They make products or services that are useful to humans. So the key that you must take away here is that engineers build. They learn how to do things. Okay, they are not just asking themselves why, but they learn how to build systems, how to build products, etc. So I think I have tried to clarify the major difference between scientists and engineers.